Hey guys, Browserkins here for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Mage Tower, and specifically the tank version of the Mage Tower played through by Guardian Druid. As you can see from my screen here, I did manage to earn the Fell Bear before the nerfs are inevitably coming in. That is in part because, I decided to invest a huge amount of my time over the past 3 days and actually putting in the pulls that I needed to get the kill. But also, it's thanks to my trusty Splintered Heart of Alar here. I don't think I could have killed it without this little thing right here. I'm not entirely sure, but every single time I got him to a sub 5% pull and then to my eventual kill, I managed to proc this thing every single pull, right? Don't think I could have survived that fourth annihilation without this unless I had invested a survival instincts, a bark skin, and my blood spattered skill at the same time. And based on how things were turning out every single time, um, I needed to not invest that much into the fourth annihilation in order to survive to the fourth annihilation. I'm not going to post a video of my kill, mainly because I failed to record it. My Twitch actually crashed before I managed to record the kill, so that sucks. But also, it's because my strategy for killing this guy was actually a collaboration between two different strategies that I saw on YouTube myself, and I'll go ahead and post those videos in the description below if you guys want to take a look at those two guides that I looked up myself. Um, but that takes me to my main point about the mage tower that I want to make today, and that is that it seems very unlikely, close to impossible. Not entirely possible, but close to impossible. In my opinion, to kill this challenge, the tank mage tower challenge, without some kind of gimmick, right? Whether it be different trinkets from old expansions or, in this example, older tiers, which you can't readily farm because there's a lockout associated with Castle Nathria still. Um, I had the Heart of Azeroth on. It didn't make much of a difference, and of course, most people have a Heart of Azeroth anyway. But it did give me a little extra secondary stat, which could have, I guess, been relevant in the fight. But I use about as close as you can get to my base Shadowlands set. The only difference between my set I killed the Mage Tower on and my normal set is that I normally run the infinitely divisible ooze when I'm fighting like a boss type encounter. I went with the splintered heart of Alar just for the death save, right? Very important in the final phase of the fight. um, that is a fundamental issue, and I don't think that it's probably the best way for Blizzard to structure the fight. I'm going to say this right off the bat. I think there should be some kind of designated set of gear that every player is automatically queued with into the tower, and they just balance it off of that. This idea was that I saw this idea for the first time on Dratnos's YouTube channel, and I'll provide a link to him down below as well, discussing this very issue. I don't think Blizzard can really. I think they're kind of introducing an issue themselves by allowing players to bring their own set of gear into the challenge. I think you should just queue into it. You're automatically assigned a specific set of gear that doesn't change regardless of anything that you do, and then you have to defeat the challenge with that gear, right? So whether it be an unused trinket that's useful, or and you can use it at specific times to negate some of the more powerful mechanics, stuff like that, that's all welcome. But right now, what we've kind of been dealing with as a player base is situations where you have to go back into the auction house, buy like a 20,000 gold enchant that's been price gouged this week, or try to farm rep from like two expansions ago to get a ring or a trinket or whatever to throw on because it's more powerful, etc., right? Not a good state for the game to be in. I'm not saying you can't kill the boss without gimmick gear, but it is remarkably more difficult to do so if you're wearing your base Shadowland set from the current tier. Um, Secondarily, although still important, the disparity involved in the tank tower challenge, and any other challenge really is pretty glaring. But even within those other challenges, different specs are owning them really hard. When I was on a White Fest on day one on Tuesday after reset, trying to get this bear form, my brother walked into Mage Tower and absolutely destroyed it in 10 pulls. I think he had the boss down to like 15% by his fourth pull, and then he just had to make a few adjustments with talents and everything. I mean, he didn't even have any weird gear on. He just walked in with this normal set and crushed the Mage Tower. Right now, of course, Fury Warrior is considered one of the easier ones, if not the easiest, um, because that specific challenge isn't really meant to be dealt with by classes that have repeatable heals, and the Fury Warrior has impending victory. Kind of made it trivial for my brother to crush that. The Tank Tower challenge is, a series of mobility mechanic checks and a massive, very tightly tuned DPS check in the final phase against Cruel. In addition to 4 or 5 things which can simultaneously, like all at once, can kill you. Right? Any one mechanic in the final phase can individually wipe you, whether it be the Infernal Smashes, the Netherstorm channels from the Horrors, the boss's Annihilation, the bumper beams that you're going to run into, knocking you off the edge, the giant green Fellfire on the ground. There's so many things that you're keeping an eye on during that phase. Um, it's just so much more difficult than what I saw my brother doing, and that disparity I think is causing a lot of salt in the community. In addition to the fact that since it is so tightly tuned, people feel like it's impossible, which is definitely not a good place for a dev company to be involved in right now. Especially since Blizzard has not really been owning Shadowlands the way that some of us thought they would. We thought this was going to kind of be a rebound expansion from BFA, which some people feel wasn't the best expansion. And I feel like Blizzard just kind of needs a W in this situation by making sure that these things get balanced out a bit. And I think they can do themselves a huge favor if they maybe nerf some boss HP in the Tank Tower challenge, or make something a little less deadly. Not really sure where it'll land. I think it needs to be a little bit easier than it is now. I don't expect people to have the massive time investment that it takes to beat that DPS check, nor do I expect people um, of a decent skill level to be able to beat it in the first place, right? Um, I'm 2553 IO on this guy, tanking 23s, and I feel like I'm pretty proficient with Guardian Druid, and I did complete it pre-nerf. That's a big deal, and I certainly feel great about that. But it's not a good state of your game when you're catering things to the top 1% who just want to beat it with skill, and then wag their EPs in the middle of Orgrimmar or Oribos at people who weren't good enough to do it. I think there needs to be a challenge, but I think it's too challenging right now. That's my take on it. Feel free to leave your comments down below. And as always, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.